Hey, what up? Um, okay, so I'm gonna live stream my explanation of the new 21 Pilots music video from their new album Trench. Um, there we go. Okay. Uh, so I did leave a comment on the newest video or the music video for the new song, asking if people would be interested in seeing. Hey, there you go. Interested in seeing. Is it private? Hold on a second. I'm confused. Yeah, there you go. Alright, this should be viewable now. I don't know why it said it wasn't beforehand, but there we go. Alright, so this is gonna be a live stream, but it's also gonna be a video that people can watch back if you are wanting to watch it back. So um right, so my original comment, which is here, basically I'll read it out and then I'll go more in depth on it so people can understand where I'm coming from. So my comment read, I think in my opinion that the video represents being burnt out. People are saying that Tyler didn't do much throughout the video. I see it as Tyler being in a kind of writer's block, or maybe he's depressed and has no motivation for anything. Josh, obviously being his best friend, tries his hardest, as all friends should, to get the motivation and happiness back in Tyler's life. Ned represents the inspiration to want to write music, but he doesn't want to come out at first. Maybe he's scared. Notice how Josh and Tyler keep having to add more and more chlorine the pool. Chlorine, in my opinion, is the motivation to get Tyler's inspiration swimming. When Ned is in the pool, his horns start to grow on his head, meaning it's working and he's changing, evolving much like 21 Pilots music. But then the following shot shows Tyler in the pool, no water in sight, and he looks incredibly drained. Ned walks up to him, and Josh hands him a small cup of motivation, but Tyler's reluctant to drink it because, as just with the water of the pool, it's drained and nothing is there. One small glass isn't going to help fill the entire pool, is it? When Tyler offers Ned the option to drink it, he doesn't. His motivation and inspiration doesn't want to drink. So that was my kind of opinion there. So I'm going to go through the video and I'm going to break it down, in my opinion, step by step, of why I think that the video is perceived this way, at least in my opinion. Now, real quick before I start this, if you're watching it live or you're watching from the past, or sorry, the future as a video, this is my opinion and my opinion alone. If you don't agree with it, that's cool. More power to you. I think that 21 Pilots are an incredibly they let their fans decipher and translate the music and videos that they make the way that you think that you see them, not the way that they want you to see it. So obviously the video starts off and the song itself is called Chlorine, and if you don't know what chlorine is a chemical that I'm fairly certain is just, its sole purpose really is to keep pools like kind of sanitary, so like clean and sort of like I'm not exactly 100% sure of like the entire scientific meaning behind what chlorine actually does, but I know it's in pools and it makes your eyes sting and it tastes disgusting, and also if you pee in the pool you can see it. So as we see, there's some shots of like a neighborhood. It's not really that important. I'm not going to be stopping every single few seconds and explaining why that house is significant and why this house is yellow and that one's brown and has like a grey roof. That's not important. Alright, so the first few shots we see is of a dirty sort of like leaf. If you can see, there's like lots of leaves in the pool. There's like a tire. In my opinion, the pool represents Tyler's brain, or at least, yeah, his brain. So as you see at the moment, the pool is dirty. The pool is hardly filled. It's got horrible old water in it, and in my opinion, the water is going to represent the sort of motivation and more sort of like the the fuel needed to create. So we see all these shots. This dirty pool hasn't been cleaned or looked after for a while, which further kind of goes into my theory that the brain being the pool represents obviously the fact it hasn't been looked after. Most people who are depressed, in the case of maybe Tyler, who's in a slump and can't get out of it, you can't exactly kind of dirty and messed up, like how the self-titled album is cluttered, if it makes sense. Yeah, sure. I mean, like, yeah, it's all dirty and it doesn't really have any care to it. Not that I'm saying that any of their albums don't have care to it. I'm talking about when you're depressed. A lot of symptoms of people who are depressed or suffering with depression is that they don't care about themselves or their brain. And a lot of the times in 21 Pilots music, they explain, you know, our brains are sick, but that's okay. They make a lot of references to the mind being broken. You know, lots of like metaphors behind suicide and depression. So we first see the shot of Ned looking at Tyler and Josh. Tyler and Josh are standing by the pool. Now, if you can see, Tyler is wearing headphones, which in itself is kind of the biggest sort of metaphor of Tyler is listening to a device that projects music into your life, or at least one of the devices that projects music in your life. And Josh is kind of stood by and he's pouring water into the pool. Now, remember I said that in my interpretation, at least, the pool represents sort of the brain and the kind of like logic behind making music and the kind of drive to want to make music, and the water and chlorine is kind of being used as motivation and inspiration. So as you see at the moment, Tyler's kind of stood by and letting Josh pour it in himself. He's not really, you know, helping out much. He kind of looks a bit, as you see, he's kind of like not looking exactly as happy as he should be, and Josh is kind of like there, sort of just stood by him. Now, Tyler's obviously singing. That's just because it's a music video. And as we see, this part here is, I think, I mean, I can kind of deduct that this part, the part that Ned is in, is kind of decrepit and broken. There's a broken door, there's these weeds, there's broken down bits of wood. It very much looks like a sort of environment you'd see those organizations that save dogs in. You know, it's very broken down, and obviously someone's left him there for some reason. So as we move on from this, so if we see here, Tyler kind of looks over at it. It's very important to see that the look he gives here is somewhat one of, I guess, I wouldn't say, I'm trying to think of the word, I want to be specific. I wouldn't say one of like begrudgement, you know, sort of like, ugh, I don't want to look at that. But he sort of looks at it with like a look of kind of, you know, when you're depressed and you look at stuff that you want to do. So for example, a lot of people who are musicians, a lot of people who are artists, and a lot of people who are creative are very upset and depressed in their life because they can't express the way they feel. So when you're depressed, at least in my opinion, when I'm suffering a bad sort of like day and I can't get myself out of creative slump, my pastime is making videos, making films for YouTube. So I definitely know how it feels when you're in an environment and you see and look at something, even as small as like a prop that you use for filming, or maybe like a piece of paper that might have some scribblings of an idea on it. You look at it and you're kind of like, oh, why? I don't want to look at it. I don't want to even look at it. And you see that he kind of looks at it and then looks back. So anyway, the song continues. By the way, I'm not playing the music because I don't want this video to be muted, which is probably going to happen if the video is played with music. All right, so Tyler's sort of stood by. He's got a cup of water, or at least I think a cup of water. And as you see here, that's Ned. Ned is a weird, I don't know what the fuck that is, but he's something. Again, it's sort of the curiosity behind the kind of pain looking out. So you know how when you're down or you're somewhat sad and you want to do something creative and you kind of know you can't put yourself in that position, but you want to, you know, you want to sort of intrigue yourself and look at it, but you know you might not be able to do anything about it. So as you see, Tyler's then like, oh, hold on a sec. He's out, or he's coming out. You know, let's see if he'll come out. And notice, oh, just hit the mic there. Notice how when Tyler sees Ned, Josh stops pouring the water. So I think that kind of in Tyler's mind is like, you know, when you jump into something before you're ready. And as I said in my metaphor, the water is representing the motivation. I think that Tyler is trying to rush the process of making music, maybe under the pressure of, I don't know, fans not, you know, fans wanting music, you know, always putting himself and Josh last and the fans first with the music. But he notices, you know, as much as he has a little look in, and he kind of has a look, it's still dirty, it's still not right, he can't get in, and he instantly turns around and goes back. So Tyler's a bit confused. So then they try again, and this time they're using more inspiration, more motivation. You know, they've got a lot more there. Quite a lot more. Now, in a sense as well, I've got some evidence, and I'm going to show you something that I only noticed about 10 minutes before I started this, is I'm fairly certain as well that Ned kind of represents Tyler personally as well. Yeah, it is way deeper. Yeet yeet McGeet. Okay, so as we see, still driving the van. Van's still moving along. We get the shot of the water, and the water is now a bit more clean, as we see there. Water is a lot more clean. It is, where is it? There. It's more clean, it's more full. There's not that many leads, but there's still a few. But the water is rising. It's now not at the bottom of the pool, it's now at the top of the pool, almost completely full. They're now trying to, you know, ready themselves up to pour more inspiration, more motivation in. And this time they've got a lot more of it. And you see they've got so much of it. Instead of just like a little hose, they've got massive buckets full of chlorine. So as you see, literally, Tyler's trying to get him out. He's just saying, you know, come on. That hand gestures for Ned to come out. Again, Ned has a little look. He kind of ponders the idea. You see, he's very childlike in his sort of mannerisms and physical movements. Still has a look in. Don't think he's very satisfied. Then we go back in again. And this time, Tyler and Josh just stole like this huge, I guess like a pool filtration tank of like chlorine, but it's not really that important. Now, there's one comment that I want to address that I feel like is really stupid. So real quick, I'm not saying anyone that says this is stupid or wrong. If we look here, there's a lot of like comments of people, and I know they're not really meaning it, but a lot of people are like, oh, why is Tyler not doing anything, or why is he not moving? Okay, Tyler did literally nothing in this video, filling up the pool, I don't know her. Yeah, like, I know that's a joke there, but well, one, it's a music video, so Tyler is also having to sing to the audience and rap to the audience. But it also helps my point of like Josh being his friend. So as you see, Josh is pushing the tank and he's helping him with everything. That further, I think, gives evidence to my my point of that Josh is kind of representing and is, you know, Tyler's best friend and one of his friends, and Tyler is wanting to do something but hasn't got the push to do it. Josh is that push, literally, to help him. As you're seeing, he's literally helping him push it along. So anyway, they break open the chlorine, load of chlorine goes in, a load more inspiration, a lot more inspiration, motivation. Another thing as well, I think it's just an Easter egg, it's not really that symbolic, but the yellow tape from the jumpsuit, Nico and the Niners, and Levitate videos back again, I think that's just, again, a nod to those videos and the whole Trench album as a whole. Right, so as you see, chlorine is filling the pool up more and more. Tyler's still singing. Josh is kind of like standing by. Not really much going on here. Just further showing that. Okay, so Ned is now coming out. I think he's now ready, or at least Tyler thinks he's now ready to jump in. And as you see, he does hesitate at first, kind of walks away. Josh kind of confused as to why, they maybe think that's enough. Like the thing that says Tyler's tape, the thing important to him. Yeah. Okay, so, Josh is also confused. He doesn't know why that's not enough. Tyler is probably a bit disheartened by it. But, as we see, Ned does jump in. He hesitates at first, but he pretty much just jumps straight into the pool. Now, notice this. This is my big point here. Remember how I said that Ned sort of portrays Tyler in a sense? As soon as Ned jumps in, or is about to jump in, we cut to this dark environment, nighttime environment, barely lit environment, and Tyler is running. Now, he hasn't got his headphones on anymore. Ned jumps in, and he's in the water. He's now submerged in motivation and inspiration. He's swimming around in it. He's all happy. If you can hear background sounds, I'm going to turn that off. That is because people are replying to this thread on the YouTube video itself. Okay, so swimming around in his inspiration. In fact, I'm going to play this part. So we see here Tyler is tired. He's worn out. You see, he puts his hands down on his legs. It's kind of a physical show of someone who's tired. Puts his hands on his head, representing stress. The lyric he says is, "I've been tested like a weather flag that's by the sea." Now that in itself, that whole statement, "I've been tested like a weather flag that's by the sea." The sea is very windy, and a weather flag obviously is a flag and gets affected by the wind. If it's very windy, the flag is flapping around all day. It's being tested hard. So again, the physical showing of Tyler putting his hands on his head, he's stressed out. Not a nod to the song Stressed Out, but he is just stressed out. Now, as you see here, Ned is swimming around and his horns are growing. Do you see that? Now, in my opinion, he also represents Tyler, but he also represents their music. Now, a lot of the complaints that I see from the 21 Pilots fandom, as much as I don't think I'm inserting myself in the fandom, I don't partake in any fandom activities. I love 21 Pilots. I've loved them ever since their debut album. I followed them through Vessel and Blurry Face. I was a fan way back when they were sort of like just becoming popular. Obviously Stressed Out came out, and that kind of projected them into the pop and sort of like mainstream stratosphere. But in my opinion, and a lot of people say, when bands become poppy or become popular, they lose everything that was about them, everything good about them. One of the complaints I always hear about is the 1975, which is one of my favorite bands as well. And I do agree that their music became a lot more poppy and a lot less emotionally invoking. But in my opinion, Trench is one of Pilot's best album. It is just it's so good. So as you see, I feel like the horns there representing growth, change. If you listen to a song like, I don't know, Johnny Boy or Fall Away by 21 Pilots, very sort of sad sounding, sort of like inspirationally, piano sounding, kind of happy music at some points. Then you go into a song like Jumpsuit, which has this like heavy bass, heavy drums, heavy guitars. It is a bit of a massive dramatic change if you go from like one album straight to the other. Even going from like Blurry Face to Jumpsuit, Blurry Face has a few songs that are considered somewhat, rappy, like the beginning of Heavy Dirty Soul has a bit of rap on it. Then you go to like a song like Levitate, and you understand what I mean? Like Levitate is a lot more of a heavy rap song. And again, evolution is happening. We still see Tyler in this dark place. He literally even says, "I'm just a chemical." In my opinion, that lyric could represent or portray that Tyler himself and his music are just chemicals to us, you know, the fans, the listeners. Music is proven to dictate moods. You know, if you're sad, you listen to sad music, it makes you sadder. If you listen to happy music, it can make you happier. I think that's you know, one of the things that Tyler's saying there. Now, after I said that, you know, Ned was swimming around in this pool of inspiration, look at Tyler now. The pool is empty. He sat there. He looks very, very upset and very sort of like done. Literally drained. The pool itself is drained. Tyler looks like himself, energy-wise, drained. The headphones are off. The music is not there in his ears anymore. Now we push in to Tyler, who's looking aimlessly sort of at the sky. There's a lot of things that people who are depressed or, you know, just zoned out do. They don't look at things properly. Now Ned, you know, comes over. This time, it's not Tyler trying to motivate Ned. It's Ned trying to motivate Tyler. So the whole video, we've had this little thing here, Ned scared of coming out and not wanting to come out. Tyler's tried his hardest to get him out with Josh's help. He finally gets him out, and now Tyler's the one that's all tired. And Ned comes over. So again, the darkness, you know, it's exactly what it is. Tyler, it looks completely drained there. Now, throughout the whole video, Tyler's been holding a kind of, I can't remember what the word for it is, the material, polystyrene, that's it, a polystyrene cup. Now, I think that is Josh who's handing that down for him. You know, Tyler looks up at him. He's been holding this, in my opinion, I feel like it's like an emergency glass of inspiration. And he looks at it somewhat reluctantly. He even looks at Ned and offers it to Ned. And then we've seen that Ned, you know, jumped into the pool full of chlorine, full of inspiration and motivation. He hands it to him, and Ned sort of like, you know, scours away from it. You know, similar to how if you, any pet owners, dog owners, cat owners, you offer your pet some sort of like food or drink that they you know, they might not like, and they kind of mysteriously, kind of like curiously move towards it and sniff it, and then maybe a little bit like, ugh, I don't want to eat, I don't like that. And I feel like Tyler's been feeding this thing to Ned, and Ned rejects it, and then Tyler sort of looks at it like, hold on a second, is this helping, you know, what I'm feeding to myself? And it cuts to black very quickly. Straight after, Tyler kind of looks at it. He gives a very, very... To be honest, Tyler Joseph is quite a good actor for his music videos. He looks at it and instantly cuts to black. And that's about it, really. I mean, like, that was my opinion on the video anyway. At this current moment in time, 133 likes. Oh, I guess people agree with me. If I refresh, we can have a little look. Oh, now 386. Sick. Would you mind checking out my bass boosted version? I'm okay. So yeah, that's my opinion on this whole video. If you have any comments or questions you want to ask real quick that I can answer, I mean, like, I'm not affiliated with 21 Pilots. I don't know the actual meaning behind this video, but that's my opinion of this video. I feel like it's a theory at best. You know, it's not definite, it's not conclusive, it's not 100%, but it's definitely a theory, and I feel like that 21 Pilots definitely welcome theories. So what I'm going to do real quick is, yeah, if anyone in the chat right now wants to ask any questions, you can go ahead and I'll answer them the best that I can, depending on what it is. Just leave me a question if you want, or if you're watching this back as a video, leave a comment on the video and I'll definitely reply to it. I'm quite active replying to most of my comments on videos I make. But if no one has any questions now, I will end the stream and the video will be on YouTube for you to watch. I definitely recommend going and watch this video. Obviously, I love the 21 Pilots music videos that they've been making, especially during this whole trench era. Jumpsuit and Levitate are really good. So is Nico and the Niners. My Blood is pretty cool as well. That video could probably do some explaining as well, but that'll be left to another day. But again, this is just my interpretation. One of the best things about art is it's subjective. It's not right or wrong. You know, you're not wrong if you say that you think you see art one way and someone else sees it a different way. It's the eye of the beholder. If you want to see it one way and someone else sees it another way, neither of you are wrong. You just have different opinions, and I feel like that's somewhat welcomed. A lot of 21 Pilots fans can welcome ideas and theories. So I'm gonna give it another like few seconds, maybe like a minute or so. If there's no questions that anyone has, or any comments or anything that you want me to answer right now live, I will peace out for now. But I'm just gonna look at the comments again to see if there's anything here that I can quickly answer. What is Ned anyways? Ned is this guy. Not that guy. That's Josh. That guy there. That's Ned. The door from Ned represents something. Yeah, I mean, like, well, I said in earlier that the kind of like place that Ned is living in itself, I think represents part of the mind, at least Tyler's mind, or, you know, the part of your mind that you hide things, you know, the dark place in your mind that you hide stuff in, the broken down place. The door being there, it's just a part of debris, and debris is sort of like an object that's broken. I'm trying to get a better shot of the hideout. There we go. As you see, it's kind of dark, it's broken down, the weeds are there, not a lot of care has gone into this little area that Tyler's little friend's living in. There we go. I think that's your question. That's okay. Bizarro. Yeah, the door from Ned represents something. Yeah, that I think like that's what it is. It's just that the door itself is just a piece of the environment that he lives in, and this part is the broken down part. And you know, as I said before, Josh and Tyler, when they first get to the pool itself is quite dirty as well. But by the end of the video, they've cleaned it. They're pouring new life into it. You know, and as much as Ned's part is all broken, he leaves that part, doesn't he? And he goes back into the nice clean part. And he's swimming around in there. But it's kind of cool. I don't actually know who created this. Who did the animation on this? On Ned. Let me see. Here we go. Because I'm interested in all this stuff. Because that's my my like hobby is I make films. There we go. I've not heard of these guys. They're pretty cool. So good job on them for making that. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I can really say about the video. You're not wrong if you disagree with me, and I'm not, and we're not necessarily right if you agree with me as well. It's a matter of opinion, and if you don't believe me, if you think that you're got a better opinion, great. There's no one stopping you. This is just one guy's opinion that I think. Okay, so this video might be taken down because I've used snippets of the song, but hopefully not. I don't really care about monetization at all. I don't want this video monetized. I just want to be able to explain this to people. So I'm going to give it like a few more seconds. If no one in the comments is about and wants to talk and has any questions, I'll jump out of this and I'll see you later. I'm trying to see if there's any comments here. I'm just gonna like these people's comments real quick. Hey, Ricardo Lopez, thanks, buddy. I'll read the final part of this. Yeah, I had this idea that chlorine was used as a chemical in terms of antidepressants. But I kind of had a few, like, a little bit to think about it. Again, this part here is just what I've already explained. I feel like Tyler is just severely depressed, or at least the character he's playing of himself in this video. You know, he's very down, especially in this final shot. I can probably zoom in on his face a little bit, and you can see there. Bring that over a little bit more. Oh dear. Poor Tyler. Okay, right. So if that's about it, I will peace out of this video. Again, if you're watching this right now, or you're watching it later on the video, just enjoy this music. Because 21 Pilots are one of the only bands really around nowadays that make music from the heart and not from their pockets. That first money. They care about integrity, and I feel like they're great inspirations in a world of music that exists that perpetuates so much hate and violence against different people, different religions, cultures, sexes, genders, ideological views, political views. There's a lot of stagnating and really hateful artists out here at the moment who are trying to kind of, again, don't want to say it's in a pun, polarize the music industry and people who are listening. So I feel like if you're a fan of 21 Pilots, you're good in my books. Even if you only casually enjoy their music, I really do. I advise you and entertain you to go and listen and watch more of their videos and listen to their music. If I was to list off a few of my favorites, I could kind of say, at least from Trench, like My Blood is one of my favorites from Trench. If I go down like the list of each album from like Vessel, I was gonna say from Vessel, but I don't know. I've got quite a few favorites. You know, Holding On to You is one of my favorites. Heavy Dirty Soul is really good. But then going back to like the obscure ones, like Addict with a Pen, is kind of quite important to me. I love that song. But anyway, yeah, please go listen to their music. Stream it on Amazon Prime Music, stream it on Apple Music, stream it on Spotify, watch it on YouTube. Don't go and watch people's bass boosted versions because it's not their videos. It's not even really kind of fair use. It's just that someone just taking a video and bass boosting it. Yeah, go and watch it from the source directly. Thanks guys for watching. If you enjoy this and want more theories, let me know and we'll see what I can do. Alright, thanks guys.